Smugglers of Gor by John Norman, Chapter 1. How helpless one is when one is tied. His foot turned me over. I was then on my back. A half-tarsk, he said. I did not understand what he meant. I had been warned that I was not to speak. Such as I gathered, must be given permission before we might speak. I did not wish to be whipped, as had the other girl who dared to speak. She was now quiet, absolutely so. No longer did she dare to speak. It was hard to conjecture what the whip might feel like on my bare body, as all of us had been stripped. I gathered that as such we might be kept in such a fashion. We had been laid side by side in 4 lines. There were 3 owls amongst us. It was as though we were not persons, but tethered animals. We were all females as we lay there. The size of males and their strength and how different we were from them impressed me, as I think it hadn't before. 2, the males were standing or walking about. We were at their feet, literally. I did not understand how they were dressed. They wore some sort of tunics. Their feet were shod in sandal-like boots, open somewhat but with leather straps about the leg. Some wore headbands, 2 carried whips. I did not understand what was going on. I did not know that I, as the others, were naked and bound hand and foot. A fellow was moving amongst us. From one to the other, he carried a coiled whip. He would crouch down and hold the whip to one's lips and say, "Kiss it," and say, "La Kajira." He was then close to me. I was on my back. I pulled at the bonds futilely. Oh God! Then he was beside me, and the heavy snake-like coil of the whip was held before me. "Kiss it," he said, "and say La Kajira." I lifted my head a little bit and kissed the whip. "La Kajira," I said. I did not know what it meant. "The capsules are ready," called a fellow. I did not understand that either. A second fellow was following the first, and he in a moment was beside me. I caught sight of a large, thick square of soft, damp, folded white cloth. One hand was placed behind the back of my head, holding me in place, and the other held the cloth. This does not sound good at all. I don't know if I should be reading this. Firmly over my nose and mouth. I struggled a little bit, but was helpless. The cloth was damp. There was an unusual odor. This is chloroform! I did not recognize the odor. It was pungent. It was irresistible. I looked up and saw the ceiling of the large building like a warehouse, and the lights not now on. The light was dim. I tried to move my face beneath the thick folds of cloth, but they were held firmly over my nose and mouth. I squirmed. I tried to struggle. My wrists were crossed and tied behind my back. My ankles were crossed and lashed together. I tried to pull against the bonds, but was helpless. Things began to go black. There was only odor. I lost consciousness.